Howdy YouTube, and welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So today we've got another spray gun review, and today we have the Iwata W-300, and this is the Platinum Elite limited edition spray gun. So it's a mini or midi size spray gun. It's a little bit bigger than some of the mini guns like the LPH80, which has got a really tiny fan on it. This is just a little bit bigger than that. So as you can see there, it does come with its own hard plastic case, which is pretty cool. It comes with a pot as well, a black one. I think they do that for the UV primers. So some people that use UV primers like to use the mini guns. So this one here is available in 1.2 or 1.0 mil, and that is actually it for this limited edition. Another thing you probably noticed is we've got that spray gun lube. We've also got a little air duster gun and a little cheater valve or regulator there, a gun spanner, and a couple of cleaning tools. So it's something that you do appreciate, because to be honest, this gun is a bit more expensive than your average midi gun. Now it is a limited edition, as I said, so the average W300 doesn't look like this. I wouldn't say it's the best limited edition I've ever seen, but I guess it looks pretty good. The black chrome is a pretty cool, stylish look, and it's not over the top, I guess. That was just a quick look at the air cap there. So you can see it's a WB1, and this is actually the first time I'm using a W300, which if you hold it up to a W400 Bellaria, then you'll notice that it is literally just a scaled down version of that. So I make a mention to that because I'm not an expert on all the different air caps. So what I did do is have a look on Spray Guns Direct website, and this edition, so the Platinum Elite edition, only comes with this one air cap, which is the WB1. But then if you go to the other edition, which is just the standard edition, there actually is another air cap, and I think that must be like an RP cap maybe, whereas this one here is the HVLP. That's what I'm thinking is going on. And looking at the size of the holes in the air cap, that would confirm my suspicion. So I'm pretty sure that this is a HVLP gun. And looking at that fan, it's a nice, solid, even fan, even distribution of the fluid the whole way through that fan pattern. And it looks nice size for a minigun. You know, I mean, you're buying a minigun, I guess you really don't want it to have too big of a fan, to be fair. And yeah, let's get straight into the booth and spray this car, and I'll continue to give you guys my opinion and thoughts on the gun as we go along. So one of the first things I always look at when I'm doing a spray gun review is check the price, and I ask myself, is that a good value purchase? So even though I do get these guns for free to do reviews on, I still always put myself in the position of the buyer, and I say, hey, if I spent that much of my hard-earned money on that tool or whatever it be, would I be happy? And look, I'm just going to tell you straight up that I think this gun here is a little bit overpriced. Now look, you could explain it away by saying, yeah, I get those couple of extra things, I've got the air blower, I've got the regulator or the gauge. You may also say, look, I like the carry case, so I can justify that extra little bit of money because I've got that little extra value added by the couple of extra things that they have included in the kit. But as usual, I got the gun from Spray Guns Direct, and after having a look at the conversion rates and how much it's going to cost to get into Australia, it's like $430, and then you probably have to pay your shipping on top, so you'd be pretty close to $500 just for this kit here. And it'll be, you know, pretty much the same thing in the UK. You could delete your shipping cost, but then you would get your VAT, which is the tax that they pay in the UK. Personally, I think that's actually quite high. You guys must pay like 20% on goods and services. We pay like 10%, but I guess that's a story for that's a story for the political channels. I'll stick to the spray painting. So another thing that I did do is jump on the Google Translate and the currency converter to have a look at like the competition spray guns of this. So I had a look at the Starter Mini Jet, seeing how much that was going for at the moment. Had a look at the DeVilbiss SRI, how much that's going for. So the Mini Jet was, I think it was like $350 Australian, around there. And I thought, geez, that's actually better value than this. As I say, look, you don't get all those extra added things, but still I would probably go for the Starter Mini Jet before I went for this. I would also go for the SRI, the DeVilbiss SRI, over this one as well, to be honest. And then I even went right down to the ANI, which is like 84 pounds, which equates to like 150 Australian dollars at current conversion rates. But as I say, you'll probably still be paying some import taxes on top of that. But yeah, look, I mean, I just don't think it is a great value option, to be honest. And don't get me wrong, like, I know that there's a few people out there with this gun and they love it. So like, I actually had someone in the comments recently saying that he just got this gun, and he's asked me a couple of questions actually. So don't worry if you do have this gun. Like, I'm not saying you have a bad gun in your hands. I just think you could do better with your money, if you know what I mean. So I'm a bit of a tight ass. I've said this in many of my other videos, and I get buyer's remorse. So I really like to get good value out of things that I buy. Like, I regret buying things that, like, if I think I've overpaid for it, and like, I don't mind spending money if I get something that I'm really happy with, to be honest. But then, you know, I would look at this and say, geez, that SATA mini jet, man, that thing's a beast, and you know, it puts a bit more material on than this. So, you know, I'd probably have buyer's remorse if I spent $450 of my hard-earned dollars on this thing. So what I do is I break it down into how many days did I work for that. You know, so if that's 2 full days worth of work, I went in and I sweated my ass off, and I busted my ass for 2 full days for that spray gun. I'd be like, that was a waste of 2 days, man. I could have worked half a day for my R160, you know. So yeah, but the gun itself, I've found its strong point is base coat colors. So clear coat, yeah, it's capable, as you saw there. It actually got a really nice wet coat of clear down on that, but it's really base coat where it thrives, and really spot repair. So I thought I'd give this a Volkswagen Golf, the silver one, a crack with the minigun, because as you can see here, there's only really relatively small sections on it. And at the end of the day, I'm here to push these guns to their limits. So that's what the review is all about at the end of the day. And I can tell you now that this, I was biting off more than it could chew. The fan's just a little bit smaller, and it doesn't put it on fast enough for me to be confident that I would never try something like this again, to be honest, with this gun. I would give it a shot with the ANI F160. It's got a bit of a larger fan on it, and it pumps a little bit more material out. But I found that it really wasn't ideal for spraying this with. So to be fair, it's not really what it's designed for. So, you know, I'm not ragging on the gun for not being able to do a job like this. At the end of the day, I'm just showing you guys and telling you guys, don't even try it. And look, I usually wouldn't. As I say, I was just really pushing this thing to its limits to find its limits. That's what I'm like. With all products and tools and equipment, I push it past its limit, and then I come back to its limit, and I'll go up to its limit and don't go over it. But this next job here, I thought I'd give it a crack for base coat and clear coat on this Range Rover Sport, I think it is, yeah. And I found that, again, it just wasn't up for the challenge for the larger panels for the clear coat stage. It just didn't put enough on, which to be honest, I was a bit surprised on this job here. I thought it would do better for clear coat on a job like this, but yeah, I was actually only saying to Alan the other day, he saw this gun on my bench. He said, oh, that's a pretty cool looking little gun. And I'm like, yeah, it's all right. And I said, man, it took me forever to figure it out. Like, I just couldn't quite put my finger on it. Like, it seemed like every second job I was like, hey, yeah, it's awesome. And then I'm like, man, it's a bit average. And look, what I found out, it's okay for base coat, but it's really, as I said before, it's not that good for clear. It really isn't that good for clear. And as I say, it's possibly partly because of the air cap. So it's the WB1, which I believe is the HVLP air cap. And look here, it just didn't even put enough material on for a job like this. So if you do spot repairs and you do jobs like this, don't get this gun expecting it's going to be great to do jobs like this. To me, it's just a little bit too slow. So I actually also did my own car recently, and I did the wheels on it. So I did, most of you guys have probably already seen that video, or that video set. So I did like the whole roof black, and I did all the trims, and I did the wheels as well. And look, I just wouldn't use this gun for clear coat, no way. And look, I probably would have used it for base coat color on the wheels, but again, it's just a little bit too slow. And as you see me here, I don't usually do that. I don't usually have to bring the big guns in to bail out the little gun, but I did have to on this occasion. It just wasn't putting enough material on. I felt like I was going slow enough. Yeah, it just didn't leave me with a nice enough finish for me to be happy to say, okay, I can leave that. It was just thin, and there was actually lots and lots of little nibs through it, and sometimes you do get that when you don't get enough material on, so you really just need to bury some of those smaller nibs, and that's just what I found happened with this gun. So as I say, it was a bit of a funny one to figure out. Like, usually I know whether or not I like a gun relatively early, but as you can see here, it's able to get the base coat metallics on very precisely, so you're not going to get too much overspray and you're not going to have it floating all over your blend areas and that. That's why I say, look, its real strong points are things like this job here. This is one thing that I've actually been doing lately on these big foil drives, like a big utes, what you would call a pickup in the States. On the C pillar here that you see me spraying here, I've actually found you're best off leaving it. So painting the rest of the job, which is exactly what I did on this. So I did the quarter panel, the rear door, I think I did a new door and then a blend on the fender, but I masked over this part here, because what happens if you try doing that at the same time as painting the rest of the body, you can just get too much overspray in that back edge. But what you can see I did here is just a little bit of a false edge and then use my minigun and be very precise with the amount of paint that I'm putting there, so that we don't get left with a big thick buildup of clear coat or base coat or anything like that. So that's just another little pro tip I've found recently. I actually only started doing that in the last few months, and I've done it a few times and it's worked quite well. So yeah, I do, look, it's one of those things that in a perfect world you would take the entire well body off the car, but unfortunately we just got to do what we've got to do sometimes, and the insurance company doesn't always want to pay to have the entire well body taken off. So hey, we just work around it, and I've found that this is a good little workaround. So yeah, if you've got a different opinion to these guns, if you've got one and you think I missed something, be sure to let everybody know in the comment section. If it's ultra important, I'll pin the comment to the top and make sure that everybody knows. Otherwise, just let me know if you've got anything that you think I forgot about or you think you could add to the review. Well then again, just let us know in the comment section. But me personally, I think that you would probably be better off with something like this gun here. This is actually the older ANI R150. They're a great little mini gun. They do seem to put a little bit more material on. And look, if you wanted a better quality gun, because look, to be fair, these R150s and R160s, they're not the best quality. I mean, they're okay, but they're not right up there with your DeVille Sadas and Iwatas. But again, if you did want that higher quality spray gun, I just think you could do better with your money. For me, if I had my time again and I had no spray guns, this would not be high on the list. I'd definitely get myself an R160. I might even get myself one of those Sada mini jets, but I really wouldn't say that this is a must-have spray gun. Again, if you do want one of these spray guns, there'll be a link to where to buy them from Spray Guns Direct in the description of this video. And as always, I'd just like to give them a big thanks for sponsoring and supporting this channel. I'd like to say a big thanks to everyone for watching, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you're more than welcome to go over and check out some of the merchandise we've got. My personal favourite is those spray suits, so they're a good quality Colad branded spray suit with the Gunman logo on it. There's also hats, drink coolers, hoodies and t-shirts, so be sure to go over and check out the link in the description if you are interested. All that aside, I'd just like to say a big thanks for watching, and that is enough to support the channel. But as I say, if you'd like to go the next step, then be sure to check out some of that merchandise. Thanks for watching, and until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.